What is wrong with you two? I don't even know these people. I'm frustrated. It is addictive. But it doesn't matter. You'll love him forever anyway. The quotes, I have never highlighted so much in a book. Those people were there for you when no one else was. It's like a train wreck you see coming, but you can't look away. Okay, this is very impromptu, but I have decided that I'm going to vlog reading Magnolia Parks. It's going to be spoiler free. I have been trying to read this book for so long, and I don't know, I just kept getting distracted by other things and just wasn't in the mood for it. I don't know why, but yesterday I just finally decided I was in the mood for it, and I also had just gotten the audio from Libby. Goodness, the intro. I'm just going to read this. How many loves do you get in a lifetime? How many people do you get to call yours? There are all sorts of loves in this world. Not all of them, but most of them are beautiful. Some are old, some noble, some brave. Others are dishonorable and weak and make you so by association. Some are a low whisper on a somber night. Some are maddening. Some you can't ignore. They slow burn inside of you, never quite going out completely, but you're too scared to dare try to fan that flame. Some loves you pretend you don't feel, even when you can, even when you know you do, even if he's the first thing you think of in the morning, even if he's like a match in the darkened room of your heart, because loving something, how you love him, is a painful love that puts rocks in your pockets and melancholy in your eyeballs. And if time has taught you anything, it's that it doesn't matter. You'll love him forever anyway. Are you kidding me? That's the intro? Are you kidding me? So I wasn't sure if I was gonna video this or not. I had thought about it, but I was like, you know, I might hate this because I know a lot of people don't like it. But I just finished chapter 7 of this book and I was already crying. I don't even know these people. Like, I just started, I don't even know these people. But the writing is beautiful. Like, and the audio is fantastic. So I was tandem reading it and I was listening to her while reading chapter 7 and I just started crying and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so deep. It got real fast. And the quotes, like, I wish I could read them all, but I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, so I only read the intro. But her writing, I can see what people are talking about. Her writing is so deep. Like, I can tell this is going to destroy me. If I end up enjoying this, it's going to destroy me. So yeah, I'm gonna vlog my experience and we'll see how this goes. Okay, you're gonna get weird shots from me and you're gonna hear my daughter in the background. I'm on my way to get my kids from school, but I have been blowing through Magnolia Parks. The audio is really good. I highly recommend it. I'm on chapter 24. I think so far, so about 40% through. You hear her in the background. Anyway, lots of toxic relationship stuff, which obviously I don't love, but the writing and the quotes are still just phenomenal. Like, and also I can sort of sympathize with their situation, kind of like in Gossip Girl, how their parents are just kind of not present, but also are kind of responsible for them ending up a lot of the way they are because they really haven't been present and sent them off to like boarding school and stuff. So anyways, I feel like, you know, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people who end up being toxic were raised in a toxic environment. And so a lot of their background is kind of coming up and it's making a little bit of sense. Again, I'm still not happy with BJ. Like, he's got a lot of issues, but also Magnolia really needs to just detach herself and be apart and be happy alone for a while. But clearly that's probably not what's gonna happen. Anyway, still enjoying it, still along for the ride. It's definitely not gonna be like an all-time favorite, but I am not hating it. And I was worried I might. So just here for the ride, guys. Here for the ride. is secured. Now it's time to go home, feed the kids, and hopefully get some reading done before basketball tonight. Who's this? Have you guys seen her ever? She never is on YouTube anymore.
I never post videos anymore. We miss CapCut. It's too hard out there.
Comment below and tell Leah to film more videos.
I had a video and then I just couldn't with any other program. It was too frustrating.
We're at basketball, taking a break from Magnolia Parks, but I'm still enjoying it.
Finishing the favorites, only have had it for 3 weeks.
And I need to read it.
I know, that's the only reason I'm reading it fast.
It is morning. I just woke up. I've been listening on audio to Magnolia Parks. I do that sometimes when I'm waking up and just laying in bed. My husband was so sweet and came down and brought me coffee in bed because Saturdays are my sleep-in days. So I'm on chapter 40 and my thoughts. I feel like it's so hard to talk about thoughts when you're not doing a spoiler vlog. And it's going to be loud because my kids are above me and they're all home. So I'm sorry. I go through, it's basically a roller coaster. I go through periods where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such beautiful writing. This is so sweet. I cannot handle it. Then I go through moments where I'm just so angry at how stupid they're being, which I think is the point. I feel like they have such a connection to each other because of the stuff they've gone through together, but also just growing up together. I mean, they've known each other since they were little kids, as it references a lot in here. And that's hard when you're in a relationship and then it doesn't end up the way you want it because that person wasn't just someone you were with, but someone you were close with as a friend. And almost like family, especially when your own family kind of wasn't really always there for you. And I find that a lot to be with Magnolia. So like I see like the sides obviously that are toxic that people talk about. And I do not agree with this type of relationship whatsoever. We all know that. It's a book. I would never want any of my friends to act like this or be with someone like this. But I think it provides an opportunity to take a step back and kind of see what can happen. First of all, when you are raised a certain way where your family's not really there for you, not really nurturing you, not really helping you grow up and feel loved, very absent, how you can turn to maybe some toxic relationships, toxic traits. I mean, Magnolia, I feel like she is very codependent upon her friends, even though she puts on this brave front that she is strong and, no one messes with her or whatever. I think that she's very codependent and she really relies upon the friends and BJ that she cares about because her family has always let her down. And then BJ's issue is relying upon substances and then lashing out, which is interesting to me because as far as I can see in this book, his parents seemed to care. So I'm not really sure how he ended up the way that he did, but I'm still figuring that out. Maybe it'll reveal later. Anyways, all of these things I'm trying to say is just that when you're in a home and you're not being nurture like you're supposed to as you're growing up when you're a child, it makes it really easy for you to fall into those patterns, into those toxic relationships and not be able to really get yourself out of it because those people were there for you when no one else was. Does that make sense? I can't really ask you, but this is where I'm going with this. So I'm seeing it for what it is. I'm frustrated in lots of points. Lots of points I'm like, what is wrong with you two? But then I also am seeing it with the rational side, like, okay, what makes them this way? Why are they acting this way? So I'm still enjoying it. It's not like an all-time favorite book by any means, but I know that Daisy Haites is where people really start to fall in love, so I'm kind of very intrigued by what changes in that book. But I will say it is addictive to like just want to know about these characters. Like you just want to know what happens. It's kind of like just rich people drama, like a show. Like you just want to know like what's going to happen with these people. It's like a train wreck you see coming, but you can't look away, basically. So I'm interested in what's going to happen because I've heard the end is crazy and makes a lot of people mad. I can only imagine with these two what that's going to be. So I will keep you updated. I just woke up, so just ignore my appearance. But it's been an interesting ride. The writing is incredible. The quotes, I have never highlighted so much in a book. I will tell you that. The quotes are beautiful. So I'll update you soon. Bye, guys. Okay, so little update. I have not read any since I last talked to you. I'm still on chapter 40. So that's about 60% in. I have about this much left. But I am about to go live on some sprints with Keisha and Leah. And so I'm super excited for that. I haven't had sprints on my channel in a while. So hopefully I get this book finished and I get some footage of me finishing it for you guys. And I will update you as soon as I have any more thoughts.
But recently, I've really enjoyed like clean or closed door romances and biblical fiction, which I'll mention here in a second. But I've read a little bit of everything. But I feel like right now, those are areas that are comforts to me. And what I'm reading tonight is by Pascaline, which is about Judas Iscariot from the Bible. And I recently hauled this book and had no intentions of reading it right away. But I wanted this edition, which is why I got it, because I felt like it was either out of print or out of stock always. So I wanted this edition. And then when I got it, I read like the first couple pages and I was like, full body chills. This is about to change my life. So I had to read it, but this was not planned. So I am almost halfway through this book. And it is so captivating and so good. At first it was like reading Job, which was a little rough, but it was also really good and what I needed right now. And then it's been like reading the Gospels, but from Judas's perspective. So yeah. I'm interested to see what she's going to do. Yeah, and I feel like it's just reminding us, at least so far, that we're all sinners, you know, like we've all struggled with this, and maybe not excusing what he did, because obviously what he did betraying Jesus was bad. Yeah. But making us not point a finger to think like we haven't done things and sin it, you know, and then also just seeing how much Jesus loved him and knowing from the very beginning that what he was going to do, and he still chose to like befriend him, you know? So, anyway.
I'm so happy you're loving your book. I was rooting for you. I'm like, Keisha needs a good book.
It's been a rough reading year, so yeah. But I love when you get excited about a book because you're just like so vibrant and just into it, and it makes me excited. Well, I am Leah from Leah Beth Book Time here on YouTube and Instagram, and on my channel, gosh, I read everything. Romantasy would probably be like maybe the main thing I've been reading. Romantasy and romance, probably the most. And then I dip into a little bit of like literary fiction here and there. I've really been into Rebecca Searle, which is my favorite author, but reading her backlist. And so I have been really enjoying magical realism. So tonight I am reading The Edge of Falling. And so I've just been like kind of in my like deep introspective, want a heady book era. And then I'm like, you know, all about highlighting and tabbing, which is not my norm. Like, I was shocked. I actually tabbed Ministry of Time so much.
Our love is a painting on the wall. I am the shadows and you're the storm. Wherever the wind blows, I'll move along. We're perfect together, but I can't change the weather. Somewhere between the clouds, I think I saw the sky, and we could paint it blue, but it don't matter to you, 'cause it beanie pours, and it beanie pours.
Okay, I decided to wait a couple days before I wrapped up this vlog. I wanted to sit on this and think about my rating, think about what I wanted to say. I decided to go ahead and go with 3 stars. I do think that's still being a little bit generous, if I'm being completely honest. I think if I had just gone into this book not really knowing what it's supposed to be, it probably would have been closer to like a 2 or maybe even a 1 star, because the characters are just very unlikable. The way they treat each other is just horrible. But because I did know what I was getting into, and I do know that this is the least liked book in the series, and that the whole point is it is supposed to be emotional and be kind of an example of a relationship that, while they may really care for each other, is not a healthy one. And I do think that if you kind of look at it as supposed to be like a book of an example of what like a painful relationship could look like, then this would be a really good example of something like that. I think that she is really good at evoking emotion out of you, and that her writing is incredibly good. I feel like her quotes are just out of this world beautiful. And for that alone, I would give a star just for quotes. So I knew what I was getting into. I knew that it was not going to be a relationship really that you're rooting for. I knew that they hurt each other over and over. And I knew that there was a lot of trauma and kind of like trauma bonding in this book. So if you go in aware of the triggers and what it's really supposed to be showing, I think you can get more out of it than some people that hated it. I do know that even if you hate this book, a lot of people who I've talked to that I really trust hated this book, went on and absolutely loved the rest of the series. And they said that they were so mad, they threw this book across the room. They didn't want to read anymore. And so I think just hearing their stories and knowing that they still went on to love, absolutely adore the rest of the series is kind of why I was able to be super open-minded in this, because I think typically I would absolutely hate a book like this. And I'm not saying that I condone their relationships. I definitely do not. And I'm not saying that this is like a favorite couple. Absolutely not. But there are some characters in here that I'm really intrigued to learn about that were just briefly introduced. And I know that they are the main characters in the next books. And so I'm super excited to get to know about them, because they weren't even in there very long and they were gripping my attention pretty quickly. So I think that overall, 3 stars. Although it is generous, I do think it is deserved, because I feel like for what she was trying to go for in this book, I think she did a good job. And I also feel like the writing is just so incredibly beautiful that you can get so much emotion out of this book. I do think too, even though you're mad and like you are frustrated and like all these things with the characters, it's still one of those things where you still want to know what happens and you become very invested in them despite their issues. So I am curious where Magnolia and BJ's story is going to end up, and hopefully there is some growth in their characters. But 3 stars, and I'm hopeful that I will love the rest of the series way more. So I will vlog the next book in the series. If that's something you're interested in, please drop a comment below. And until next time, friends, remember to read what inspires you. Bye.
Our love is a painting